Hello, this is Tom Childers. I'm back. I'm here to discuss purple and yellow axes and the spectrum between them. For purple represents royalty. It's absolute power and authority, and the ideology that best represents that is royalty, but it's also similar to like despots and dictators, and it's the idea of top-down authority, which is diametrically opposed to its opposite color, yellow, which is embodied by God the Son, truth, and sovereignty. And so the idea of the color yellow is that we are individuals, and that our individual human capabilities is sufficient to make it through the world without influence or control by others. And the idea of purple is the idea of power and authority, and it's kind of combined between earned authority and given authority, like appointed authority as leadership, and also earned authority as taken, as like a coup, or as by force, by taking over, like a hostile takeover. So it's both it's a combination of might and right, and so there's like this kind of complex the idea of authority in our understanding, but at the same time, like independence as an individual can be about responsibility, individual responsibility, but it can also be about atomization and isolation, and like it'd be worse for you to be on your own, like on a sinking ship. It would be much better to be with survivors on a lifeboat. And so by yourself doesn't work so good. When it doesn't work so good, just the same as bad authority is troubling, causes us problems. And so the power spectrum here of the individual and the like decentralized the building blocks of the smallest building blocks of society or civilization versus a centralized hierarchical structure with certain all-encompassing power. And there are real reasons why people want to yield their power to those who are more responsible. It's part and parcel with wanting to work for a good manager and to be part of a good team with a good coach, because it's not necessarily true that everyone wants to be managers, but it sometimes comes up when the management is in subpar or like wanting. It would be better to have not like the best salesperson be the manager, but the best manager to be the manager. And so in a lot of respects, who we are and how we split up our roles and responsibilities, like we need to realize that we are who we are individually, but we are also tied to and integrated up the rest of our culture, for better or worse, of people who have power over us. And that's like actually a big message of Christianity, which I often bring back to. Like in the Bible, they talk a lot about, obey your master, don't wish him, don't curse him and wish him well, like bad. and your rulers, your jailers, it's the people that it's irregardless of your opinion on them, like their authority is real, and you need to like realize that that's a real thing, and it's not for you to understand. I mean, you can understand it, and you can try to change it and stuff like that, but a few thousand years later, we came up with great Jordan Peterson said, like, clean your room. It's a lot easier to change things that you can change than it is to change things that you're not going to understand because you haven't been selected because of your not understanding. Like, it's a lot harder to be in positions that are visible than people who see it think. It's like it's a whole nother world, and there's lots and lots of people competing at the like the wingtips, or the people's the edges, trying to knock people out of their seats. And so, like, we should respect what's respectful, and we should respect people regardless. Like, the intrinsic value of human life is a very strong American core value, and it's been inherited from like a long tradition of since the beginning of time, really. Now, there are a lot of other cultures that obviously share all these different things, and I wouldn't be surprised that any like modern culture that hangs out on the internet and that has international trade, they probably have been coming along and picking up things left and right. But we're still going to have, obviously, like indigenous like enclaves of people that have no idea what in the world's going on. But the global community is uniting and congealing in a way. And so what I'm like hoping to be able to do is help people get better positioning and some clarity to the mess that we find ourselves in, because it's actually quite beautiful, and there's fewer answers than there are solutions, and there's going to be a lot of different ways, and a lot of different people are going to go a lot of different ways, and we should see that as an opportunity to take by their lead what they're doing is right or what they're not doing is right, and not really just like judging them for the sake of judging them, but evaluating what other people are doing to have similar issues that we're pending, what we're about to face. Like, there's a lot of central government and like localization of like succession like discussions going on right now, and there's a lot of liberalization of laws, and there's also former colonies that are getting reunited with their mother countries, and we don't really know exactly how to do modern protests and affect change from the bottom, but we know for sure that we want to. Like, the United States has college campuses and cities with marching and mobs and all the rest, and so we're gonna need like a intelligentsia that can step up their game.